G'day, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this edition of MGuy EV News for Wednesday the 29th of May 2024. So EV drivers have for the past few years had the luxury of not having to pay for anything pretty much in terms of road use charges or other kind of taxes, but that's all about to change. So owning an EV isn't going to be quite as much of a no-brainer as it apparently has been up until now. Electric cars are about to get a lot more expensive. Drivers should expect higher taxes as governments rush to fill gaping fiscal holes. In California, you may soon have to pay for every mile you drive. Texas has already brought in an extra registration fee. New South Wales is planning a form of road pricing, while tariffs imposed in the US and soon the EU as well are expected to massively increase the sticker price of every car. Add it all up and one point is clear: electric vehicles are about to get a lot more expensive. But hold on, even by the standards of industrial policy, this is taking things too far. The same governments which have been heavily subsidising battery-powered cars as part of the drive towards a net zero economy are now imposing punitive taxes on them. Surely it is time they made their minds up or just left it to the market to decide. Wow, that'd be a novelty, wouldn't it? Let the market decide. Of course, the reality is governments don't have a clue what they're doing. On the one hand, they're giving money away hand over fist for people to buy EVs, but then they suddenly realise, oh, we're not getting any road tax, we better start taxing them now. It's just madness. This is an interesting article because it shows the political divide between those who like EVs and those who don't. Another roadblock to the EV transition, personal politics. As automakers look to push their electric vehicles, some consumers are resisting for political reasons. On paper, Robert Olson is a prime candidate to buy an electric vehicle. The retired Arizona engineer loves cars, has owned hybrid vehicles and has the means to pay the premium for an EV. And he owns 2 gas-powered cars, including a Porsche, that he could use for longer road trips. But Olson is turned off by electric cars. He thinks their potential to help the climate is overstated, correct, and he resents the Biden administration's pro-EV policies. It's being pushed down our throats, said Olson, who says he is a Republican. Automakers are fixated on easing the practical concerns around electric vehicle ownership, primarily high prices and charging hassles. But in the industry's quest to persuade more Americans to consider EVs, a swathe of the buying public could prove tough to convince, those opposed to EVs for political or ideological reasons. In a recent Morning Consult poll of about 2,200 American adults conducted for the Wall Street Journal, about 4 in 10 said they had an unfavourable view of EVs. Of those who are opposed to them, 38% said their political views were a factor. Even more of those with unfavourable views, 63%, cited China's dominance of the EV supply chain as a reason. As for party affiliation, 31% of people who identified themselves as conservative said they had a favourable view of EVs, compared with 66% of liberals. You can pause the video and have a look at the graphic if you like. Conservatives tend to criticise public subsidies to support electric cars and dislike regulations that attempt to steer consumers towards certain products. Liberals are more likely to drive EVs for environmental reasons and tend to favour public investment in green energy. I think this is true. I think there is a huge divide between left and right on whether we should be using EVs or not. I think those on the left tend to think that government intervention is all fine and we just have to do what the government says. Those of us on the right tend to think that the government should get the hell out of our private decisions, like what car we buy. And it's for the market to decide when EVs actually are worth buying. This could be interesting. You could break down in your car and the AA sends a recovery truck to pick you up, which then runs out of battery and which then has to be collected by another who knows. AA adds fully electric recovery truck to its fleet. Brilliant idea. UK's biggest breakdown assistance provider adds 3 electric recovery trucks. These are part of a trial to help the AA become net zero by... seriously. The next time you're stranded at the roadside because your car has suffered a mechanical issue, it could be an electric vehicle that comes to your rescue, or maybe not if the battery's flat. That's because the nation's biggest breakdown service provider, the AA, has added fully electric trucks to its fleet, becoming the first UK-based roadside assistance firm to use EVs to recover stricken petrol and diesel cars. I mean, seriously, this is just madness. It's like electric fire trucks and electric police cars. The pointlessness and the idiocy of this is just mind-blowing. Bloomberg is engaging in a bit of a cope here where it thinks that the slowdown in electric vehicle sales looks more like a blip. Please, 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 please. EV sales are still booming for most automakers. Really? Are they? Let's see. Even if Tesla is in a rut. After an underwhelming start to the year for US electric vehicle sales, it might seem easy to conclude that the boom times are over. Hint, they are. Sales were flat in the first quarter. Ford dramatically scaled back expansion plans, and Tesla laid off 10% of its global workforce. But these dismal indicators only tell part of the story. Honest, they really do. For every sign of an EV slowdown, another suggests an adolescent industry on the verge of its next growth spurt. Oh, please, please, please. In fact, for most automakers, even the first quarter was a blockbuster. 6 of the 10 biggest EV makers in the US saw sales grow at a scorching pace compared to a year ago, up anywhere from 56% at Hyundai Kia to 86% at Ford. A sampling of April sales similarly came in hot. The trouble with these figures, of course, especially when you're looking at percentages, is that when you're talking about small numbers anyway, percentages can be huge. You know, if you sell 2 one year and 1 the previous year, that's a 100% increase. Be interested to see what the actual absolute figures are. But to say that the industry is booming, I think that is a real stretch, Bloomberg. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And this is one of those situations where you realize how bad the mining for minerals for EV batteries really is when this kind of story comes out. A catastrophe unfolding. Nickel miners criticized for interacting with remote tribe. A clip has emerged of a miner interacting with members of a remote tribe. Activists say the vision exposes the dark side of how electric vehicles are made. Yes, well, the dirty little secret of EV manufacture is where they get all these rare earth elements from, like cobalt, for example. Don't ask any difficult questions about that one. Environmentalists have made a desperate plea to Tesla boss Elon Musk after horrific footage circulated this week of mining workers interacting with a remote tribe in Indonesia. Multiple indigenous tribes live in the Halmahera forest, which is currently being mined for nickel to be used in electric car batteries. Human rights organisation Survival International's research and advocacy officer, Callum Russell, said the tribe members in the footage could be dead within a matter of days as they have no immunity when it comes to outside diseases. We know that when these indigenous communities get in contact with outsiders, they die, Mr. Russell said, and in general, between around 2/3 of the tribe will die of disease alone when they are contacted. You can check the link in the description to go and watch the video, but you can see some stills here. The local tribes in the area are also being impacted due to the deforestation caused by the mining. Deforestation is bad in every situation except when it comes to EV batteries. Just like, child miners is bad in every situation other than when it's for EV batteries. That's what's called hypocrisy, and the Greens are experts at it. I've done videos in the past about the safety of EVs on ferries and how fires on an EV can sink an entire cargo ship. But this article from Belgium is showing how Greek ferry owners are concerned about EVs, especially when they're fully charged. Greek ferries refuse electric cars after new safety directive. Greece introduces new restrictions on the transport of battery-powered cars. They will soon only be allowed on a ferry if their battery is no more than 40% full. Employees of the ferry services can check the cars and refuse access if the battery is too full. The measure applies not only to pure electric cars but also to plug-in hybrids. With the restrictive measures, the shipping companies follow a directive from the Greek Ministry of Merchant Shipping, which in turn follows recommendations set out in an investigation by European Maritime Safety Agency. That agency carried out an analysis after 2 spectacular ship fires for which electric cars were pointed out as the cause. Car transport ship Felicity Ace sank in the Azores in 2022, and last year a disaster off the Dutch coast in the summer of 2023 with the Fremantle Highway could only be narrowly avoided. I've put links in the description to my videos on both of those incidents, so check those out. After a safety analysis, the European agency not only advises to allow electric cars only if they have a limited battery charge, it also suggests that the temperature of the battery is checked when charging. After all, the problem is that electric cars can hardly be extinguished in the event of spontaneous combustion of the battery pack. This phenomenon is called thermal runaway and has an abnormally high battery temperature as an early symptom. The agency also targets cars running on natural gas and LPG. They are only allowed on ferries with a tank that is half empty. The restrictions only make travelling with an electric car more complicated, especially since Greece is not a high flyer in terms of charging infrastructure. Arriving at the ferry with a sufficiently empty battery and being able to recharge after arrival require a lot of planning. Travelling with an electric car doesn't get any easier, and it will continue to get harder and harder and harder. I mean, Greece, it's a nation of islands. People need to get around with ferries all the time. And if there's a chance that one of these cars can go into thermal runaway and sink an entire ferry, then you do not want that on board. Simple as that. And finally, we have some Tesla Cybertruck dashcam footage of all the hate that Cybertruck drivers get from other road users. Wonder why that would be. The first Tesla Cybertruck dashcam videos are in, and it's all hate. It turns out that some people really hate Tesla's angular pickup. Yes, most people. The Tesla Cybertruck has always been a love it or hate it type of vehicle, and whether owners like it or not, Tesla's first ever pickup truck will turn a lot of heads wherever it makes an appearance. It's just that some of those turned heads follow up with extended middle fingers as well. Most people want to take photos of the thing and ask questions about it, as we found out during our own time with the stainless steel EV. This is Inside EV, so it's a complete fanboy website, as you can imagine. But not everybody has good intentions, it seems. The first two known public Cybertruck dashcam videos featured on the Wham Bam Tesla Cam YouTube channel have definitely captured some ill-intentioned folks. The first clip shows a Cybertruck owner going down his merry way in California, not doing anything wrong, when a guy on a motorcycle who was lane splitting smacked the right passenger mirror before flipping the pickup driver off. I know I shouldn't laugh, but it is funny. Another Cybertruck-related encounter in the same video saw the driver of a BMW 5 Series seemingly wanting to throw some water, or maybe another liquid, we don't know, on the green wrap of the electric pickup. Multiple times even. He even cut off the Tesla, which is just plain aggressive. I don't condone vandalism or aggressive behaviour of any kind, but if you're driving a Cybertruck, you're kind of asking for it. So that's just about it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Bye for now.